Okay, and the last topic that I will be speaking heavily about is the Fed meeting today. Everyone, looking to see what the Fed's going to do. What are they going to say? So, what effectively they said was originally in March they said rate increases till 2024. They revised that and they said, okay, we're looking for ones in 2023, put us up to 0.6% from zero now. Yes, about 30 of 18 officials indicate this because they kind of measure the probability of a rate increases by a survey of officials and seeing what they're thinking, what they're saying, and they kind of build a metric as a percentage of probability for the likelihood of rate increases and what they're going to be. So, the one thing that people have been noting is that they never see things specific. Going to roll back on the buying, when they're going to roll back on the repos, and when they're, when specifically they're going to do that. And that's one of the biggest parts of the problem is, yes, interest rates are low and we have to raise them. But so the purchasing of financial assets is tremendously high. I mean, just that free money is just everywhere. And the thing is, in general, you have to start kind of weaning the market of purchasing long before interest rates go up. Because remember, right now you're pumping lots of money in the economy and the interest rates are dirt low. It's free money mania, which means the system is kind of on this momentum. If you change everything quickly, all of a sudden the system has a huge shock. They call it like a taper tantrum, right? When you taper things off and the markets throw a fit because all of a sudden easy money's gone, everyone has to restructure everything and figure out how to make ends meet. So, but in general, you want to kind of stop buying slowly over time to get the markets more and more used to less kind of help. And then you raise interest rates because now they're stronger. They can afford to borrow with more higher amounts of interest, which to be, again, from our perspective, it might look like 0.6%, 0%. These are ridiculous. And they are, right? I believe they're ridiculously low compared to the interest rates we all pay. But at the same, when it comes to moving an entire market, everything is pinned to each other. So if you raise interest rate 0.5%, valuations change. And when valuations change like that, people start getting hit with, margin calls and defaults. And people say, hey, you got to pay more for these loans and you have to pay these faster, and they restructure these things. So I definitely think the Fed needs to move fast. I think it needs to move faster than it is. 100%. I just don't know what the perfect numbers are via the math. But they definitely, I think they should be moving faster. But this is what they're saying. So that they're clearly acknowledging that parts of inflation are not transitory, that they may be permanent, and they're monitoring it. But they still see 2%. Their 2% target is in range. And what they're going for right now is maximum employment. So they're trying to get to that 4.5% sweet spot where they, we get as much of the labor force working as possible. But I'm not 100% sure if their policies are helping that happen, and I'm not sure if they have the ability to kind of tweak that, because it's not necessarily just a labor market issue. It's a psychological issue why people might not be going back, or needs for their families. It might not be so simple. And also, the officials raised their GDP expectations this year from 7% to 7% from 6.5%. So it went up a little bit because we're seeing big growth this year as a result of the rebound from COVID. So we'll see how that kind of turns out. And also some interesting facts that one of the things they're looking for in the labor market is they're finding it hard to gauge some of this stuff. And part of the reason for that is because 2.6 million people retired between February of 2020 and April of 2020. So a ton of people walked off the market by just, retiring of and saying, I'm done, I'm out, I'm just going to, live my life now. So they're trying to figure out how all this is going to kind of rebalance and what the new numbers should be. And the Fed is some people are saying they're dragging the feet, some people are cheering them on, some people are saying they're keeping rates low because they're ridiculous. They're just funding the market madness. Some people think that raising rates obviously is not what they want to do. There's a lot of debate here, and I think I don't envy being the Fed, but the Fed, this is their job. So, but they want to avoid the taper tantrum, and the kind of the balance is between, okay, how do we wean ourselves off while not hurting the economy and making sure the numbers stay stable, but at the same time monitor all the data seeing to make the best decision. So, but we rate hike coming in 2023. We know they said they plan on doing this. They're going to keep and discussing this as some numbers have been revised as well. That's really the big news right now. So, Fed seems to be noticing. It just is a question of, are they noticing fast enough?